They said it like a verdict etched in stone. My wife's parents stared me down across dinner and declared, "You'll never measure up to Mike, her ex." The words cut deep, but I forced a laugh. "Then go ask him." I shot back. That night, sleep eluded me. I couldn't let it go. Thoughts of revenge were already forming in my mind. The next morning, I set my plan in motion. I started digging into Mike's life, his job, his friends, the events he attended. If they believed he was flawless, I would expose his cracks. I wanted them to see that their perfect Mike was far from perfect. At the same time, I focused on transforming myself. I changed my wardrobe, refined the way I carried myself, and improved how I spoke. I took courses, excelled at work, and earned greater respect in my community. Gradually, people started to notice me differently. My wife saw it too, though sometimes her gaze seemed distant, as if my change unsettled her. I didn't just want to compete with Mike. I wanted to shatter the image her parents had of him, so I arranged to meet him. Over coffee, it became clear he was just an ordinary man. Charismatic, yes, but nothing extraordinary. That gave me confidence. Then I began planting subtle seeds. Whenever I mentioned Mike in front of her parents, I made sure to highlight his flaws. I'd say he's charming, but he doesn't always keep his promises. Slowly, their certainty in him began to waver. My wife, however, watched me with eyes I couldn't read. I craved their approval more than ever. Her father began respecting me, and her mother started seeking my advice. It felt good, almost addictive, but deep inside, I was changing. I was no longer fighting for love. I was fighting for pride. Finally, I invited her parents over for dinner. Calmly, I reminded them of all the years I had stood by their daughter. Then I revealed a message from Mike that exposed his careless side. Their faces fell. I thought I had won. My wife even placed her hand on mine. For a fleeting moment, I believed everything was restored. But victory came at a cost. After that night, my wife grew quieter. She withdrew little by little, as though she didn't recognize the man I had become. One evening, I discovered a hotel receipt in my coat pocket, proof she had been somewhere unknown to me. My chest tightened with dread. When I confronted her, she confessed she had been conflicted, even tempted by memories of her past. She admitted she felt lonely in our marriage. I was stunned. I had done everything to prove myself, but I had neglected her heart. Instead of softening, I worsened the situation. I orchestrated a public confrontation with Mike at a charity event, trying to expose him as a fraud, but he handled it with grace, and I came across as a bitter, petty man. The crowd whispered. My wife looked devastated, and I realized I had crossed the line. The fallout was harsh. Friends distanced themselves. My in-laws recoiled in embarrassment, and my wife left to stay with her sister, insisting she needed space. The accomplishments I had fought for felt hollow. Revenge had poisoned everything. Then came the cruelest blow. Her parents finally admitted they had been wrong to compare me to Mike. They even apologized. It should have been my moment of triumph. But when I looked at my wife, all I saw was sadness. She couldn't forget how I had turned our marriage into a battlefield. Calmly, she told me she had to leave, not because she still loved Mike, but because she couldn't stay with a man who made love a weapon. My apologies came too late. The divorce was quiet, but painful. Splitting the house, the furniture, even the photo albums felt like tearing pieces of life apart. My in-laws watched silently, their expressions unreadable, guilty, satisfied, or both. One morning, she returned to collect the last of her things. She looked at me with clear, sorrowful eyes. "You proved them wrong," she said softly, "but you didn't prove me right." Then she walked away, closing the door behind her. That silence was a true end to my revenge, and it left me with nothing but regret.